Exactly right. We know that they listen to us.
Right.
We know in detail because I could write something, set it on my table and just wait for a couple of hours and whatever it is, it's on the telex or teletype, whatever it is, and the crew they got for our community is going over it and strategizing. I try that all the time. I make sure I know what I'm talking about. But remember, there's one thing that's different. If we're the real thing and they're the phony thing.
Right.
Okay. So if we're the real thing, we give them the real picture. If it's necessary, we can force them. That's going to be hard because big Negroes up in New York and all that, they're not going to give people the real picture. We force them to give a semi, you know what I mean? As far as they could go without telling them, do 1, 2, 3. Okay? We know what they're doing with them people. We know they're listening to us right now, but we have an advantage. We have the truth, and we have some ability. If we can't get in the house, we'll talk what we do. All what we've done, we've been practicing with care, everywhere we go. This is all like practice runs. They're real. You see what I mean? When we go to a program, we talk about this city and that's all real. But it's also practice for the other thing. Because our whole thing is training. The point is that lady Linda Salsar, or whatever her name is, it's okay. They can do what they want. But they can't stop us from doing it. And if we push hard enough, here's what happens. Sometime when you got a rebellion getting ready to happen, let's call it a rebellion or a transition. The sides separate. The bad guys kind of ease together, and the good guys, history pushes the teams together. Like history is pushing everybody together now on economy, on currency. So the good guys, the side we on, right? The side we're on, you can see that they're going to win. The side we're on, China, Russia, we would have never thought of it decades ago. That's our team. We're on that team. Iran, they're covering the Middle East. In the new world, there'll be regions of power. Our crew in Iran, the war in Yemen will solidify sooner or later. The people, the Muslims, will solidify on teams. You can't stop them. They're either going to be on the Iran team or they're going to be on the Saudi team. The Saudi team got more money, and every time they've been around, they don't use that money, and you can see fleets of white trucks, right, with the Salafis on them coming. How can you all afford all of them trucks from the same manufacturer, the same guy, and you're all loaded on them coming to do whatever you do, right? It's ridiculous, but it's Saudi money. How can everybody that could be something is all under the gun? Yemen is under the gun, but they're going to survive it. Saudis in 5 years have not taken them out, and they got all those zillions of dollars. They're going to survive. Iran is going to survive intact with Allah's help, no matter what They do. All right. Lebanon is in a lot of trouble, but they're still going to survive. Because when Iran kicked back in, right? And you can't take Iran out because they got China with them now. You can't take them out. You could hurt them a little bit, but you can't take them out. When they win the election, and what's the name, they're going to still have to they're going to have to cut the, what's the name? Biden said, I'm going to reinstate that JCPOA, whatever it is. Okay. Even if they don't, it don't make a lot of difference, but it make a little difference. We are already on the right team. Now, as the world is going through their changes, we got our responsibility here, right? This is not a fun assignment. You know, if the people wanted an assignment, give me for Islam, for love and peace. Hey, I take Sri Lanka, anywhere you got, I'll take that. You know, the ambassador, I'll be the ambassador over there. How about up in the mountain, anywhere, but not America. America is our responsibility and we raised for it. Proof of it is we're already here. Nobody even thought about getting here. No black movement, no Muslim, and all of those people have been used against us. Why don't none of the brothers, you can read, we got letters from the black movement, oh, you're a great guy, oh, you did this. You can see they write to you probably already. Why they never say nothing? They're in exile and they got a name. Why they don't say, this guy here, he hooked us up. They say it to you, but why they don't say it to everybody else? You got to think about that. Why do the black people that's still in exile, when they come over here, their wife and their relatives do not come to visit me, and I'm the main Negro from there? What about the brothers that came out of Penn? We all know their name. Why if the first person they meet coming out is me and I'm apologizing, man, I was big before and I had big money, but this is only a few grand I got to help. Why is all them other Hotep niggas that was part of New York 21, since the 89, when they get out of the penitentiary, why is it we've been sitting right there waiting for them to get out and trying to offer, this is going on, that's going on, this is a little money, it's not much, da-da-da-da-da-da. Why they don't ever say nothing? They didn't came here before. They come here with Najee and other people. Why did Najee never? He had all the people, the Soledad brothers was all my friends almost, except one. Why he have everybody on the thing, on the Black August? I said, Black August, that's my homeboys. Why you don't have the official there that know all of them, right? Why are we just, you was there, you lived through it, and you was there when all of that. If you was there on all of the stuff they talk about, why they don't ask you to come WPFW right down the street? Why are you not there? Everybody knows what the hell is going on. And ain't nobody saying nothing. Right? I mean, yes. This is clear. Everybody knows that I'm not making up none of this. This is all clear. Yes. Everybody knows that Oakland was the only city in the United States. And there's enough people that's still alive that remembers all of that in detail. And whatever we say here, they will put another 50 or 100%. They will say it was bigger than what we say here. There's all, that was big, that was serious. They just didn't know what it was. They didn't know that it was part of a movie. All they saw, man, we were getting money, man, niggas getting money hand over foot, and we were living in houses out on, and you know, and you could do this. That's all they knew. Because you couldn't tell it, well, it's a black economic enterprise zone, and we're following the principles of Malcolm X, and that, right? They wouldn't even want to hear that. Nigga, we don't care nothing about no Malcolm who? Malcolm, we don't know that nigga man to get everybody killed. Right? They would have, what I'm trying to say is, it don't make no difference. We done got this far. Now, the next step seems to be, okay, as far as the strategy, I'm not saying we can't because I don't want to say, but usually the numbers would not be, the time and the numbers, things is moving so fast, that possibly it would be quicker and better for us to work with what they already developed.
Right.
They could not have developed them, the parents, if they followed our strategy. See, we believe that they were produced for us. Because if their parents would have followed our strategy, they wouldn't be able to build these 3,000 centers around America. And we knew that all the time, and that's why so now, do we need all of them? No, we don't need all of them. We just need a human movement. And I believe their heart is clean enough that if they heard enough of it and heard it in the right way, that's part of our next move. For our own self, clean up all the stuff we have around here and do it on a regular basis. And then the youngsters, to give them a mission, an evolutionary mission. And the first stage is simple. Just join everybody and participate in all the groups, because you know on the campus everybody is semi-conscious and they're active. Don't worry about it. When they get off campus, they ain't got no more right. They're gonna lead a revolution on the campus. But if they get trained there, the training will teach them, but also the vision. What should they tell the other students? That there's a better America that's possible. It's all very simple. This is America we've had. Slavery, suffering, death, Jim Crow, Jane Crow, all of that stuff, immigration bill, this and that and that. It's simple. What kind of world do we want to live in? Same thing we say, right? But let them start the dialogue. Everything else takes care of itself. The dialogue. If they're educated, we just drop a few points here and there and let things run. Everything, they'll get challenged by the society and then they'll have to answer the questions. It's like if our children do dawah. If they do dawah, they just do dawah. Don't worry everything else, because you're going to get challenged. So you have to study, you have to research, you have to be sharp. You can't tell these niggas out here, well, there's one God, and da-da-da-da. Well, you got to prove something to me. So they got to get sharp, right? Y'all have to get smart. You can't go just telling the Negro, yeah, man, this is Islam. And then the Islam that we're pushing. For Muslims, it's one thing. For non-Muslims, it's another. For non-Muslims, it's sobriety. No drugs, no alcohol, family, right? Don't worry about answering all those questions about Descartes and Spinoza and all those, right? Right. There is a God, there's one God. Don't use up your time, right? Because the kids, some of our kids go to school right now, they take them backwards. They said, and you have, well, we got to question this. I said, yeah, you can question whether, you know what I mean, water boils at a certain degree and temperature, but you don't question whether there's a God, you explain to them why is a God, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you don't have to, we ain't gonna question that, but we're gonna show you why. Because you already know, right? Shahada, everything they learned, the 5 principles of Islam, all that, just tell them, the niggas that, but also tell the people, for all the problems that you have, see, the simple thing for the Negro is, okay, we have drugs in our community. You just keep praying, fasting, don't worry, that'll go away. You have alcohol, the same thing. Drugs and alcohol produce what? You beat your wife, you beat your children, right? You don't have no money, right? Solves all of those problems because as a Muslim you save your money and you do this, that, and other, right? So Islam is like the old flower, are you a slave? You know what I mean? That type. It solves the problems of the people. We're not trying to make saints out of them, but we're telling them, hey, you accept Islam, this is what goes along with it, da, 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 and take your time. It ain't no hurry, right? Da, 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 da. So, for the people that's already Muslim, they have helping their family and friends and the Masjid be more confident about Islam. For the dawah they're doing to the other people, oh, it's just this, da, 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 da. And if you're a Muslim, it helps this and it helps that. It's like a medicine. That's what they call it, Ash-Shifa. A medicine, a tonic for all the illnesses. So that's what we're presented as. And as far as Miss Sausar and the other people, one thing we know, it was clear. Remember when we was downtown last time, and the people walked by, the black lives people, they didn't even, when they looked at us, it was in a snarl. And they walked right on by. They didn't even speak. They didn't even speak, and they went on up there. And that ain't new. Somebody told them we was already down there, and they turned the music up whenever we would come, right?
Yeah.
And
Always.
when they having that phony fight out there, tell the truth. Didn't we embarrass them to where they didn't? That's a phony fight. You jive, and that ain't even real, right? And they couldn't do it anymore. They had to, because it was so phony.
They had to shut the whole thing.
They just shut it down.
Pretty much. The whole
Yeah, they
operation
shut it
is
down
over.
and said, forget it. It ain't gonna work, right?
That's right.
And then all the police are sitting there watching us, and we trying to tell them, so you don't know where you're gonna allies us come. But strategically, this is really strategic depth. Because they didn't expect us to turn around and go after them. They expected us to wind up mad, angry, and isolated. Because that's what, if they did their research, that's what anybody would do. If they did this to them over and over again, if somebody left the car full of junk cars there for nothing, you'd be mad at them. Them niggas did this, them niggas did that. They said, thank you very much. We thank you for leaving that junk. Because it's clear to everybody, we'll do a program on that. We'll walk around with the camera, we'll say, this is Volkswagen, this is a good car, now here it is, it's on flats, and this is how it got here, right? And we'll say, we'll send you, if you like, we'll send you a DVD of the people that did that to the car and charged me $400. This is a perfect running truck. I started up yesterday, it runs perfect. I said, but the freeze plug is not in there. Freeze plug, it comes out if your car freezes, if it's full of liquid, that's what it's for. But how can it freeze plug pop out when it ain't no liquid in the car? It's just ridiculous, right? And this van, this is a nice van, this is a good running van. We're showing, I know, this truck full of junk. And this bookstore, we'll show it to them as is. We'll show them the house as is. And we may even get up there, we said, this roof had holes in it. that people put there, right? That people put there, and that's the easy stuff. But that's what we've been given. We've been given that. We're going to use that. So people can see it, they can like it, they can believe it, but it'll be there for them to see, right? They didn't, no one expected us to survive this long and with this attitude to where we wind up with an arsenal of kindness, of optimism, and of humor. They didn't expect us to do that. But we wrote that out years ago, over a decade ago. And okay, we're in good shape. Now, and I'll close with this. Everything is already tilted. We're already on the right side. We hope there's certain realities, though. Our allies either don't realize or don't appreciate what we're doing. You know, our allies, whether it's Russians, Chinamans, and all of that, you know, even Iranians, the ones back home do. But we have to get them the message that we've survived inside the United States, survived, thrived, and developed our own counteroffensives and everything else. And we'll be able to carry on to the final conclusion, no matter what. But we are at a critical period, and it would help if there's a certain amount of support and consistency. You know what I mean? Because, for instance, if you got the bums always got new trucks and new everything, right? Tell the truth. The bums, man, the bums right around here, whatever they build up to, when they go away, they going away and they done already did their job. Okay, if they're still here, they got the publicity, they got phony credibility, they got everybody singing their song. All of them. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That, I mean, I know y'all can imagine, but imagine now, other people can't imagine that. I could imagine somebody hearing 1 2 hour lecture that said, that boy, that Imam Musa is out there.